Hello, welcome to the RHEB3L Podcast. I'm your co-host, Waylon. Today we're going to talk about an issue, real moms solving unacceptable issues. You may have heard this often quoted saying by Alexander Pope, "To err is human, to forgive divine." But is this really true? Romans 8:38 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Every day, life is full of challenges from all sides. Do you ever feel overwhelmed at times too? Honestly, I believe at some point in life, everyone will be blindsided by unexpected difficulty with health, family, or work. We want to bring together real women, moms, and grandmothers who have all experienced life's challenges and consider how to step back, give yourself a new way of looking at the situations, and to become a victor over it. We want to talk about how to live your best life. Be the best you, and don't get caught up in the harmful views or actions of those around you. People often share their heartbreaks with me about losing a job or not being able to have a relationship with their grandchildren or an unfaithful spouse. So let's discuss how to be strong in these struggles. How do we keep our mental health in tune? What are the most effective ways to manage toxic people in your life, and how do you avoid confrontations? Is someone in your household messy? Is there a kind way to encourage this person to pull their weight on chores? What is the best way to encourage yourself when you're exhausted and over it? Talking with other moms to share frustrations and experiences, is this a good way to vent, or is there a better way to inspire and recharge yourselves? We want to end unacceptable treatment, setting healthy boundaries for moms to implement immediately. When is the best time for a mom or a grandmother to pull back from a difficult or harmful relationship, and how long should you not communicate? What are simple ways to encourage, build up, and support other moms and grandmothers? This all today on the RHEB3L Podcast.
Hi, this is Debra Danielsen. I am so excited today. Waylon and I are going to be talking about how real moms, grandmothers, women, mothers-to-be solve real unacceptable issues in their lives. And we're here to lift up and encourage. We have two guests that I love dearly. One is Dr. Darlana, and Dr. Darlana is joining us right now from the Grand Prix up in Detroit, Michigan. And she married David and I, and she is a delight. Not only is she a doctor, but she's also a real estate. Are you a real estate agent or a real estate broker?
I'm an agent.
She's an agent, and she's also a reverend. So yes, we are legally married, in case you were wondering. And then also with us, longtime MTV producer, now owner and operator of Walsh TV Productions, is Heather Walsh. And Heather and I go way back from 16 and Pregnant, Teen Mom OG, and she might also surprise us today with a visit from her mom. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to let each one of these ladies give us a sentence about themselves so you get a sense of who they are, and then we're going to start talking about what are the most important issues, facing a lot of us today, moms, grandmas, not only in the home, but also at work or with mental health especially, and how do we encourage and uplift one another? And I just want to introduce a couple of my little squishmallow friends here, Pikachu and Gengar. Now, you may have days where you feel like Gengar most of the time, and you want to have this little devilish, like, I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to show that person, right? Or you just may be like Pikachu, just give it a wink and a nod and put a smile on your face, and hey, we skip along and we have a great day. What we're going to try to do is show you how to live your best life by doing certain things that will help you to either let certain things roll off your back because they're not worth the time and effort, or how to look at them so that they're more manageable and they don't bring you down and they don't destroy you ultimately and make you feel exhausted, or you have to go to bed because you're depressed, etc. We've all been there, trust me. So, Dr. Darlana, can you kick things off for us? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi there. I worked as a psychotherapist for 25 years, and then there were some things that couldn't be cured by psychotherapy. So I got a second PhD in holistic psychotherapy, and I do holistic psychotherapy with people, including family therapy. I'm also a mom. I have a son and a daughter in their 30s, and I have 5 grandchildren and 1 on the way.
Wow.
And so my daughter went to college and came back with twins when she was 18.
Wow.
So I became a young grandmother at 44, and I've been a grandmother for many years. That was a big challenge in our life. Those kids are 18 now, and there have been wonderful things about that, and there's been some very serious challenges that I've had to deal with. So I have a lot of experience, and I'll try to provide information that'll help people have a more positive life and be able to express their true soul, their true spirit in the world, which is naturally divine and isn't whatever that other thing's, not Pikachu, but when we get into our negative moods that come from a lot of trauma, of how to exit out of them and how to have more spiritual, more harmonious relationships.
Sounds great. And Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Heather Walsh. I will be 51 this July. Can you believe that, Deb?
No, I cannot.
51 years old.
You look fantabulous.
My body's falling apart, however, though. My knee, I have tennis elbow. I'm falling apart. And once I hit 40, I really can't see anymore. Like my eyesight went. Anyway, I am a mom of Henry, who is 12 years old, and I have 2, I guess, like stepchildren, Cam and Kevin. I'm not married, but I'm with my partner, Ishvan, and have been for 14 years. And I am a TV director, producer, I guess you would say, for reality TV. And I have my own production company, and I'm involved in as much as I can in my community with whatever events are happening. Gay Pride's starting today, so I'll be volunteering for that. My son's school, I coached football, I coached soccer, baseball. I try and stay in touch with my community, even though I do travel a lot for work.
So when do you get to sleep?
I don't sleep very much, Deborah.
And I think that's...
I'm also ADHD, so I keep it moving.
I think that's a big challenge for a lot of women nowadays, Dr. Darlana, is taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves not only physical rest, but emotional and mental health breaks. Can you talk a little bit about things that seem to work really well to recharge your mental health and your well-being?
Well, the first thing that I recommend that people do is get sunshine. Sometimes we're inside and we don't have, just getting 15 minutes of sunshine per day, even if it's cloudy or rainy, just be outside for 15 minutes. That's number 1. Number 2 is I recommend meditation. When I had 2 children and 3 stepchildren and 5 kids in the house, I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And that's when I started meditating in 1993. And because I was given Xanax, but that made me just fall asleep.
Yeah.
And so I found that meditation for 15 minutes was as good as Xanax. So I learned to meditate by using the tape, at that time a cassette tape, and giving myself breaks at least once a day where I could be quiet and get away from people. Or a bat can work for people that don't like to meditate, but that's an excellent tool for recharging.
And what about you, Heather? What do you do to recharge, to reset your battery?
The biggest thing for me, which is similar to what you had said, is just being out in nature. I do a lot of, which Deborah, you do a lot. You inspired me when I was filming with you guys. I do a lot of gardening and landscaping now.
Yeah.
And I found that over COVID, being outside helped a lot. And now that's my go-to, is just being outside, being in the earth, and just, I put my AirPods on and music and just block everybody out. I do love a massage when I have time. Massages like refocus, re-energize me, kind of get all that stress and blockage out. It's just finding time to do that. And then I really do enjoy and I think this is something that you want to talk about later, just spending time with like mom friends or friends. It's just like kind of nice to hear that other women are going through the same thing, so I don't feel as stressed out about my son or about not being able to keep up with everything that's happening with his school and schoolwork and social life and things like that. So I would say those are my main things. And driving and listening to music. I do love that.
I think music has helped me get in touch with emotions, and I love, writing songs and producing the music. And my last song I wrote with Sophia in mind called When I Grow Up. But I think that I really wanted to write that song and perform it, and I did it at Gay Pride actually with Waylon, and we went to the Trixie Motel. We did all kinds of fun things. But I have a real problem when people look at anybody over 50 and they think that as a woman, if you're over 50, you're like not relevant, you're old. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
And I think that is just getting started. We're just getting started at 50, and we have so much to offer. And I think I titled the song When I Grow Up, and instead of going over the rainbow, we went over the bubbles. and I dressed in an avant-garde outfit. Yeah. And I just had a good time. I think it's important to surround yourself with people who have unacceptable expectations, right? Where they're not putting any judgment on you. They're not putting any, limitations on you. They're letting you be your real self. And
supporting you and being yourself.
Yes. And I tell you what, the Gay Pride Parade in Palm Springs, California was very revealing about how supportive people are to be themselves. And I think that's a big deal. Dr. Darlana, how many women have you encountered that really have a struggle because too many people put their expectations on a mom or a grandmom and tell them how they should live their life and do their thing, and to the point where they're miserable?
Well, I think it's important to have a tribe of people that are like-minded, like you are. And unfortunately, our family is not always our tribe.
Right.
Sometimes our family is very judgmental, very critical, and not healthy for us. So for you to have friends, laughter is very important. One of the things I do for fun is do stand-up comedy. I'm actually pretty good at it. It's pretty
wonderful.
Funny.
I love that.
Different. Yeah, do something different that you absolutely love, and find a tribe around you who thinks that you're awesome. Yeah. And can laugh about you it's really a taboo subject to talk about being a mom and how difficult it is and how we feel like we're failing. Yeah. And at the end of the day, really your job is to make sure your children are alive. That's number one. And everything beyond that is really extra and extra. But when you have judgmental people around you and you are falling short, it only confirms our fears, and it makes us go inside and not talk about it, but inwardly feeling like we're failures, and we don't talk about it with people. But having friends that you go, I'm the worst mother in the world today. You wouldn't believe what I did. I served them cereal for dinner. That was what they got, man. that was my top act today. Yeah. So get a tribe.
I love that. Heather, what about you? You film a lot of women struggling. I know on MTV you did, and you've seen a lot of struggles both with mental health and just the physical environments. What would you say to all of that? What would you think is the most productive thing for people who are trying to live up to unrealistic expectations?
What's the question one more time?
So, like when we were filming, there were a lot of unrealistic expectations put on the women that we filmed with,
yes.
Right?
Young girls. Yes.
Young girls especially. And what is a good mom? What is a bad mom? And you have all these armchair quarterbacks sitting at home spewing out who they hate, right? Like it's a fight, like it's, somebody's going to come out a winner. So what would you say to encourage young moms who are trying to live up to unrealistic expectations?
I think it's difficult to tell a young mom because, they're young. So now that I'm older, I'm 51 and have a 12-year-old, I've learned being around, I live in Connecticut. I love Connecticut, but there's judgy people here. I've learned to just find my tribe, like you said, or just, I do my own thing.
Yeah.
I take Henry to like a game, and if the parents are there that I don't get along with or that are judgy, I just watch Henry. But telling young moms, like when I worked with your daughter, they're young. So saying, well, just don't hang out with them. They're in a different mindset.
Right.
And I remember Farrah telling me, once I had Henry, because I started the show and I didn't have Henry. Then when Henry was born and he got older, I would tell Farrah, like, why don't you go to there's music classes and there's mom and me groups. And she's like, Heather, I'm like 17 or 18 at that time. Like, people are going to judge me.
Yeah.
So for younger moms, it's difficult. I wish there was more of, more teen mom groups and meetups. Maybe they do have that, but I don't think that really existed, at least in Iowa and Council Bluffs when Farrah was young and had Sophia. So, she probably, walking through the supermarket, she probably felt like, people thought she was a babysitter. I'm pretty sure she told me that. But so it's hard to tell young people anything. It's like me telling Henry, don't worry about these kids right now. You're not going to probably be friends with half of them, but he's a tween and everything's about, well, my friends don't think that's cool. But as a mom, me personally, because hitting 50 is, as a woman, I love it. It's the best so far. I'm just confident. And if people are judgy, and they do judge me because I'm like the crazy TV producer who's always leaving and coming and work on, intense talked about shows. So I do my thing. I own it. I don't really care what people think. I never have. And I really don't in my 50s. So
Perfect.
Take it or leave it. And I'm a good mom. So
you are.
Shove it.
You are a good mom.
I'm a good mom. Henry's a good kid. He's a good human.
He is.
That's the most important thing.
And he looks very happy and adjusted, well adjusted. He looks like he's feeling safe, he's feeling supported, and he knows that you guys love him.
Yeah, and I told him, be a good person. That's all you got in life. Be a good person.
Yeah. And, I think what I've learned is you can help people by saying, I used to do this or I used to do that, and then I found this other way of doing it or looking at this, and so now I don't worry about it, right? So when I was on TV on Teen Mom OG, and I had people bashing me horribly about what a bad mom I am. No wonder Farrah reacts the way she does. You deserve to get beat up. And I'm like, what? Nobody deserves to get beat up. This isn't a wrestling match. This is real life with real people, and little kids and family members are supposed to love one another and support each other. So I had to try to give up the urge to go to social media, to read what people were writing. And even though I would post something about, hey, today I went out in my garden and I found some lettuce out there, and I didn't know that it was there, but there it was, that people would just start bashing me about some unrelated topic. And I just find those people are not worth my time or effort. And remember, Michael used to get on there and he used to argue and fight with people. And I'm like, you just ask him for trouble. So I agree with you. I totally don't care what other people say or think. If I'm not happy with me and my God, then I'm a miserable person. And I can't charge up enough to give back something beautiful or meaningful to another person if I'm running on empty and worrying about the rest of the world. So.
Well said, Debra.
Thank you. So, Dr. Darlana, what has been the biggest challenge that you would say that you faced as a mom or a grandmother?
Well, any kind of abusive behavior is something that I recommend people don't participate in. It does come up. We've all had trauma, whether it's collective trauma or it's our individual trauma. But when somebody starts acting abusive, it's because their trauma's been triggered. You have to know that's theirs. That is not yours. Do the very best you can to immediately leave. Immediately leave that situation, end the conversation. I don't participate in that.
Yeah.
And walk away. Nod and smile if you have to. It's not really anything to do with you. But when somebody starts getting into yelling, then or criticizing or judging, it's time for you to set your boundaries and say, I'm not participating in that. We can calm down, we can come back and we can talk about it from a loving way, the best way that we can. But until we can come to listening to each other, I mean, arguing's talk, really, communication is talking and listening. Somebody yelling isn't listening. You're just escalating the fight when you yell back. When somebody yells, stop. Do not yell back. Do not, somebody's criticizing you on social media. If somebody says you can't do something, you shouldn't do something, they're just telling you what they can't do.
Right.
What they're not capable of, what their shadow side is. So it's important to not engage in it, stop it immediately. And if it's a very close family member, then yes, you need to bring it up as soon as you can. And if they won't, sometimes people don't and won't, and they hold grudges for years. What we need to do to heal, because anger is a secondary emotion to hurting, is that what we need to heal is for us to understand, just like I think Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, that he said, God forgive them, they know not what they do.
Right.
People don't know what they do. And that way you can forgive anybody. You can forgive a child molester, you can forgive your child, your grandchild, say they don't know what they do because they really don't. And have understanding of that and forgiveness.
Yeah.
God forgive them and grace, and just send them light and love. And have for you, remove that energy. Just let it go and let God is a good way to put it. But do our best not to accelerate abuse by participating in it.
Well said. I like that. And you know, in my own life, I've had to learn to let go. And it was very hard. It was very hurtful. And I know that there's a lot of pain in families. I have people almost on a daily basis want to know, how you doing with Farah? How you doing with Sophia? You know, and when I say I haven't seen them in 3 years, I have not, and I haven't spoken to Sophia. And a lot of grandparents out there are hurting because they can't see or talk or have a relationship with their grandchildren. So I chose to walk away instead of having continual abusive discussion or physical abuse. I just chose that I need peace, I need mercy and grace to get through life as it is, but I do not need arguing, constant fighting, and ridicule. I don't need that anymore. And I've done my best, and that's what I'm happy with, that I've done my very best. Heather, what about you? How do you feel? What's been really challenging for you in life?
Challenging, like just in general, or
Like in an emotional way that you've been trying to let go of, or you've struggled maybe with accepting a difficult situation that has occurred in your family or at work even?
Yeah, I mean, with family, everybody goes through things. I mean, I guess the biggest I guess there's a couple. I mean, my parents divorced and my dad having an affair and marrying that woman who is now my stepmom and working on that relationship, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
That's been a struggle for years. And, you know, I guess forgiveness for her and my dad, you know, doing that and leaving my mom alone, who now I take care of, and she lives next door. Not take care of, but help.
Right.
So that forgiveness is really difficult, and working on the relationship with Laura, it's still not where it should be, and I don't know if it ever will be, and that's difficult for me because I don't like having bad relationships or you know, things
Right.
I like to work on things. I like to talk about things and move on. I don't like to have bad energy and bad vibes. So that's one that's kind of sticks to me. And then I think losing my brother to suicide, which was almost 20 years ago, is something that, you know, suicide survivor guilt doesn't go away.
Yeah.
I should have, you know, that's difficult for me. But it also, you know, I've taken that as something, not in a positive, but sort of where I've met people that, are going through things and I feel like I can help them, at least talking about, people that do have mental issues. Not that I'm a psychiatrist or therapist, but just, pushing them or encouraging them to get help because of what I've been through and what I've seen. And I mean, those are like the main challenges in my life. And then I think just challenges of being a mom and trying to do everything because I love doing everything, but not having time to get it all done.
Right.
And then not living in the moment. Like today, I'm like mowing and it was almost like 1:10 and I'm like, I gotta run in. And then I know I have to go to a baseball game and then I have to do this and I do that. And Ishvan, he obviously helps and does things. And I don't know if it's my own, a lot of women have this, like feel like we can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my fault, but no offense to you, sir. So it's difficult to like delegate. It's like, I know I can do all this and I can do it better and I enjoy it, but then I run out of time and I'm exhausted and then I get short a little bit when things interfere. Like if Henry's like, after this, we're going to the baseball game. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish mowing and go to his friend's baseball game. He'll say like, can we stop for food? And I'm like, well, Henry, that's going to make us late. And then I get short and I get like mean to him or I get short. I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy my time and be in the moment with him. And I feel like I don't get that a lot. And I feel like he's growing so fast and he's already 12. I mean, you remember when he was born, Debra.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be in college soon and I don't really have another child. So I don't want to sit, I don't want to make the mistake of saying like I missed out on these moments where I could just let go of all the things that moms and women have to do and just be in the moment. I would say that's a very big challenge for me right now.
Yeah. And I remember the day that I was really sad about my dad passing away and you were grieving about your brother and Farrah was grieving about Derek. And I remember the day that we went and we set some balloons off and sent them up with some prayers to heaven, right? And I got to tell you, that was such a really beautiful moment out there in the desert and doing that. And I think you opened my eyes because nobody in my family would ever do anything like that. That would be seen like, oh God, that's out there, Debra, because they're too conservative.
Yeah.
But I really felt like it made a big difference because I felt like I could really share that we all have lost and to share that with other people, other women, and to share that grief, that grieving moment. It made a big difference.
And to release some of that pain too.
Yeah, you do release pain. So
Yeah, I mean, it was you, me, Farrah, and Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia was there.
But Janet, yep. I think I feel like Farrah and Sophia maybe continued to do that because they enjoyed that too.
Yeah, it was a big day. It was a big moment.
I remember that. It was in Texas. I remember that. It was because I was filming on my brother's anniversary and I was having an off year with that. And you guys all supported me. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
People, apparently someone told me that I guess more, environmentalists don't like that balloons are released. But my mom was like, well, they can shove it. Because it helps us on that day.
Yeah.
It's like not one balloon's the environment's already a mess. But I know that's adding to it, but it helps.
You're not doing it every day though, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I know, but people said that, and I was like, oh my God, shut it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching part 1 of Women Discuss Solving Unacceptable Issues today. I hope this program has been insightful and helpful and points you in the right direction to living your best life. Now go and glow.